doing? It's Russell. In this video I'm going to show you how to make barbecue kale chips. You may have heard of kale chips, they're getting quite popular these days. And I want to show you this recipe for barbecue flavouring, and it uses no nuts. You can actually get quite crispy kale chips using a kind of cashew mixture and using a dehydrator as well. But this recipe I'm going to show you no nuts, and it's going to get them crispy but also a little bit chewy when they're in your mouth as well. It's just a really nice tasting dish. So we've got some ingredients over here which we're going to come to in a second that's going to give us our barbecue flavouring. But the first thing we need to do is get some nice organic kale. So really organic is like an essential with kale because it's one of those things that if it's not organic it's sprayed very heavily. So we've got some nice organic kale that has been washed and spun in the salad spinner to get all the excess water off. And then all we need to do is take another bowl and just tear off the kale into kind of bite-sized chunks, I guess is probably the best way to look at it. And these stalks as well, you know, you can save them and juice them up with a little bit of with apple, so that you get all the goodness from all of your organic kale. So what I'm doing there, as you can see, is just little kind of bite-sized chunks. So now we've got our kale nicely de-stemmed and put into nice little chunks there. I'm going to talk you through these ingredients that are going to give us like a barbecue flavour, and they're just so amazing when you put them together. So first of all, we've got some sun-dried tomatoes here, and they have been soaked. So you can usually buy them in a packet. I would not necessarily buy the ones in the oil because they have kind of extra ingredients in that you don't want. Buy them kind of dry in a packet. Soak them, and you'll find that if they have been packaged in salt, that they will become less salty when you have soaked them. And they're much more easy to work with as well, nice and pliable. So we've got our sun-dried tomatoes, we've got some nice soft medjool dates that have had the stones taken out of them. Then we've got some chipotle chilies, and we're actually going to use the chilies and the soak water. So these chipotle chilies are actually smoked jalapenos, and they, if I take them apart, you can see they've obviously just still got all the seeds in, just like the regular jalapeno will have, but they've been smoked, so they've got a really nice, amazing smoky flavour, and so that's going to really help us with the barbecue flavour. Taking the seeds out is going to make them less spicy. If you're worried about them being too spicy, that will help. Then we've got some tamari, some olive oil, and we've got some apple cider vinegar. And then we've got some spices down here. We've got a little bit of paprika, cumin, garlic and onion, all in powder form. So all I'm going to do now is just pop these straight into the blender, blend them up nice and smooth so that we can make a sauce that we can then mix into this. Okay, so sun-dried tomatoes, dates as well. Now with the chilies here, we've measured out the water, so we're going to use that. There's plenty of flavour in there. And then we're actually going to use the chilies themselves. And these just pull apart really easily to take those seeds out. It doesn't matter if you get 1 or 2 seeds left in there still. And put the rest of our liquids in. Spices. Okay, so there's our sauce. It just smells so good. Got that real barbecue smell to it now. Really easy. The next step we need to do is take that out of the blender and straight into the kale. And if you haven't got a high power blender like this, you might just need to add a little bit of extra water, but you know, that's okay because we're putting these in the dehydrator anyway. So even if you go a little bit over the top on the water to get it to blend smooth, it's going to dehydrate off, so it's fine. So this is the fun part. You've got to have very clean hands for this. We're just going to work that sauce into the kale so that every piece of kale is covered. And what you'll notice as you do this is that the kale will start to wilt down a little bit and reduce in size. So we started off with a whole big bowl of kale there, and now it's kind of reduced to half, even with the sauce in there. And all I'm doing is just kind of feeding it through my fingers like that, just to make sure that every piece of kale it's got some sauce on it. And once you're happy that that's been done, then we're going to take a dehydrated tray. Our dehydrated tray, we've got the mesh sheet on there. You could put these straight onto the mesh, but that tends to make them very difficult to clean. So use your non-stick sheet as well. And then you don't want to really pack it on there because you want the airflow to be able to get round. And we're just going to scatter those around. So now we've got those nicely spread out on the dehydrator tray, we're going to pop them into the dehydrator, 115 degrees Fahrenheit, for around about 10 hours, and that's going to allow us to take them off of the non-stick sheet and then maybe put them back in on the mesh sheet just so they can get dried all the way around. And you can't overdo stuff in the dehydrator. It's not like you can burn anything, so I like them to be really crispy. So usually, you know, sometimes I'll even end up putting them in there for like 24 hours just to make sure they're nice and crispy. Okay, so here we've got our already dehydrated kale chips, and you can probably see that we've had a few go missing over the dehydration process, just testing, of course, and it tends to happen. You probably want to make a double-sized batch for what you actually want to end up with, because you'll just end up eating them halfway through. But you can see they're nice and crispy. So we've got 2 trays here that we are going to enjoy right now. There we go, that's easily a good snack for 4 people. For movie night, it's absolutely perfect. So enjoy that, and I'll see you next time.